Aloha! I just want to explain a little bit about my expectations for writing papers in this class. It's fairly simple, and it might be a bit different from if you've taken any of the English classes here already, because I've heard from other students that what they require from you when you're writing a thesis statement is to provide 3 ideas in the thesis statement. I want you to understand that in my papers, all I want to have is one idea. A thesis statement should just have one idea. You could say, in this paper I will show that, and then one thing, just one thing, and make it linked to the, in this particular paper it's the sociological perspective, so a sociological perspective thesis statement, and it's a statement. Oftentimes students will say something like that this paper will show the sociological impacts of such and such. Well, that's not a thesis statement, that's just saying that you'll analyse some perspectives later on. A thesis statement is actually where you make an argument. So the invention of the train caused the Italian community to be poorer. That's one idea, that's just one idea, and it's a statement. It's a statement that I could then defend and argue throughout my paper. And then after that in the paper, now the thesis statement needs to be in the first paragraph. So in the first paragraph of the paper, you will start building up the subject. You'll discuss it a little bit, the background, and then somewhere at the end, and maybe even the last sentence of your first paragraph, you will build up to the thesis statement. So some background, and then what it is you're going to defend. The one statement about one aspect of this perspective that you're going to defend. And then after that, the paragraphs throughout your paper are going to tie back to that one thesis statement. You can have different aspects tying back to that one thesis statement. There might be several elements of the invention of the train that you want to talk about, but they're all going to point back to that one thesis statement. And then at the end of your paper, you're going to have a summary paragraph which is going to tie it all together and explain how you have just shown that your thesis statement is correct. So that's basically the simple mechanism for doing good papers, writing good papers in this class. That's my expectations for papers. And I think that I know a lot of the issue with writing papers is just finding out what the teacher wants, because different teachers have different expectations. I'll try and make this a fairly simple expectation. So I hope that that's not that complicated. It might be different to what you've done before, but that's what I experience at graduate level. So if you're going to go into graduate level, I think that's something that you'll experience a lot. So, and I think that the idea of having one argument and then being able to relate the rest of your paper to that argument is a fairly common kind of writing style, because the ability to defend an argument is a really important writing strategy. It's important in oral presentations as well, the idea of presenting a statement of what you're going to talk about, and then talking about it, and then at the end summarising it and finalising the defence. That's how oral presentations go a lot as well. So I hope that's making sense. And the other thing that you must understand is that these papers are a minimum of 5 pages. So you have to fill 5 pages, and that doesn't mean half a page on the first page with your name and then 5 spaces and then the title and 5 spaces. Now it's okay to have a little bit at the top according to MLA format to put the title and the name, and then just it has to be normal double spaced. It has to be 1-inch margins, and it has to be a 12 font, so that you all have the same, and the same requirement is the same for everybody, and you have to fill up 5 pages. So it can be longer than 5 pages, and if it's a couple of lines short of 5 pages, okay. But if you're like 10 lines short of 5 pages, that's not 5 pages. That's 4 pages and some. So remember these just simple parts of the rubric, because I do want to make sure everybody gets full points. I'm student-centered. I want you to have a good experience. I want you to get the grade. So just remember these parts of the assignment. And the other part that's really important to remember is I've asked for peer-reviewed citations. 5 peer-reviewed citations, and many students get marked down because they use about.com, Wikipedia, and other things. Now, I know that it's coming better and better, that Wikipedia is becoming more accepted, but it's still not considered peer-reviewed like a journal. So what I'm really asking for these assignments to meet the requirements of the university for writing is to find journals or books that are peer-reviewed. Peer-reviewed basically just means that many other reviewers will be reviewing that article before it ever gets published. So in a book that comes from the library, or a journal that's accessed through the library, you can guarantee that those are peer-reviewed. So those are the kind of citations I'm requiring: books or peer-reviewed books, peer-reviewed journals, or sometimes there are a few websites that would be considered credible, such as a government statistics website, because that has been through many reviewers, and has to be reviewed before it's ever going to be put there, and a lot of work's gone into it. So there are some other categories of websites that there might be, but you're safer to go with journals and books, and you can get access to those through the library system. Anyway, so these are some of the main requirements of my papers. I look forward to reading some excellent arguments, and good luck.